Hello everyone, welcome back to another Hare over a Hill. Today we are doing another pre-release kit of Bloomburrow, the latest set. Magic the Gathering, Bloomburrow. I'm actually, what I've seen of it, I actually like. The lush wilderness of Bloomburrow is home to tall tales and tiny heroes. Wielding spears and steel, a brave band of animals sets out to uncover the secrets of the valley. Adventure awaits behind every. I wasn't around it. Not a lot. What is the? Now I'm actually like, I can think of a thing that I can like. I'm thinking of a set. It was well before I was actually playing. It wasn't a law. What was it? Like, it's one of those sets that's like, oh yeah, I know exactly. That's it. Not even tied, but that block. I was never really. I never actually. I Law went to Shadow Mode. That's it. I don't know why I could not think of the modes. I was not playing during that time, but in its own unique way, this somewhat reminds me of the set of that. So, and okay, I have to say something about this. With Wizards going with more black dice with the like different colors, it stands out. I don't actually have the dice on me, but compared to like the almond cat, like red with like different colorizations and whatnot, it just made making the numbers really hard. And even when they had different colored dice with different colorations on the numbers, it's like it's somewhat hard to read. Thusly, I personally like you can really distinctively from my camera see the 15, the 16. It makes the numbers really pop with the black background and whatnot. So yeah. So it was like the divider, which pretty nice, somewhat thick, but not bad. Obviously, like poor people are probably not gonna use it, but for like a little event, it's always nice. And what I got, Wishing Well, as my preview card. I'm not gonna be giving. I know it was a comment on my last video. I'm not really giving away my code, mostly on the fact of it's my only pre-release kit that I got. And I didn't actually play in any events, but yeah. Wishing Well. Tap, put a coin counter on Wishing Well. When you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery with mana value with a number of coin counters on Wishing Well without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into graveyard. Okay, so like slowly over the game you can just like cast bigger and bigger spells. But because it has to be a CMC equaled, is it actually you may cast target with mana value equal to the number of coin counters. Yeah, so you can't exactly like, oh yeah, I'm tapping for 3. I'm gonna cast this 2 CMC thing. It's like, and tap it, and I'm gonna cast counter spells. You can't do that, which somewhat sucks. I would have, because the card Foretell does something similar, which says, like, put a number of counters on it. This, if you attempt to cast the first thing you cast each turn with a number whose CMC is less than the number of Foretell counters, it's like that. Like, it's now 0. Like, it does the CMC or less than equal to the number of counters on it, which I would prefer. But yeah, the 6 packs and a 7th as a just in case. Let's see what we get through the main packs itself before going through. And one of the big things that there's 2 things that I'm really missing at the moment. But one of the things that I'm somewhat missing is the fact that all of these packs have the same freaking character. I understand that production-wise, it's cheaper to have one thing on the front, but it's like, really what sold old Magic players, it's old packs in part, was, oh yeah, here's different characters that are on the set. Yeah. It is. And they really do sell, like, a good number of, like, and why I compared this set to Lorwyn originally was the fact that, like, yeah, let's not have any human characters. Yes, there's Val Zarek, but at least, like, let's not make him human. So there's that. And even with Lorwyn, it's like, well, these are planeswalkers. They might be human, but I haven't exactly read all of these, but I do like the semi-tribalness of it, and a nice reprint of Run Away Together, which is always nice. That came out in original Eldraine, so yeah. 4 and a black, choose one, exile target creature, target opponent exiles an enchantment they control. Okay. And Valorant, come on, focus. I somewhat enjoy the whole Valorant, like, yeah, it might be a little bit hard to track the, wait, did I already play my land this turn? It's the, did Valorant activate this turn? Kind of shenanigans. Almost wishing they bought, like, those exalt tokens that you can, like, oh yeah, as a reminder for myself and my opponent, I can put this exalt token onto my creature. I'm not even, like, I'm probably just gonna run through most of this, so I'm 1 pack in and I'm nearly 9 minutes in. Do draw, there is a card that I'm looking for, but that's mostly, I'm forgetting the card's name now, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Ooh, Sunspine Lynx. Saw this guy being previewed. Yeah, players can't gain life, damage can't be prevented, and when the Sunspine Lynx enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. Kyrnis and Thanos of Meletis. I have that as a commander. I might preview it on in the future, but when I saw it's like I almost want to play that in that deck. In that my version is more of a bear hug, in that hugs, and I'm playing Death and Taxes and pseudo stacks and just being the like damage can't be prevented, can't gain life. I'm already having that happen, so that's pretty cool. Um, ooh, pretty fast. I'm liking that artwork already. And the hollow is an uncommon. Uh, Drift Gloom Coyote. When Drift Gloom Coyote enters, I had to get used to that. It no longer enters the battlefield. Um, exile target creature. Exile target creature and opponent controls until uh, Drift Gloom Coyote leaves the battlefield. If that creature has power 2 or less, put a +1. Okay, that, like, yeah, it's a 5 mana 3/4, which for, like, a pseudo Fiend Hunter effect, it's like, I would want, I mean, for an uncommon, it's a little bit good, but if I was gonna spend 5 mana on a creature that might grow, but is going to exile, it's like for an Oblivion Ring effect, I would expect to pay 3 for an enchantment that does it. How much would I expect to like? Oh, for 3 mana, I would expect to get maybe a 1/1. So for 5 mana, maybe a 3/3. So getting a 3/4 is nice. That if I exile a small thing, I get it becomes a 4/5. It's like I'm not 100% sure. Like the power and toughness is not nice. It probably is gonna be somewhat high picked on if you own white in draft, but it's still double white, and I'm not sure how common. I'm pretty sure fixing is not that common in this set. I love that school. Or granted, I get it that squaws have already established to be in green, and due to Chatterfang already, and the new primarily because of Chatterfang, squaws have been put into black. But I at least enjoy that. It's like, oh yeah, elves, they are like green and occasionally blacks. Why not? Let's do the same exact thing with autos. Um, he is okay, but a bear with upside when he eventually dies, I am all for. Definitely in a limited environment. Paul of Wisdom, again, if you're playing like 2 or 3 autos, I could see any on blue, which I think most autos are in blue. Uh, why not? Like, just a divination is not bad in standard. It's not good, but it's not bad in standard. But a slightly cheaper divination by simply being in a creature type that's already in blue, well, it makes it go from a 5 on a power scale of 1 to 10. Divination is maybe a 5, maybe a 4, but it definitely boosts it up by 1 for sure, in my opinion. And I have to say, I love the offspring mechanics already. Um, it offers something. It's something different. Um, how often it's gonna see play outside of it's probably gonna see it's gonna see standard play. Until you get until people start using until people are going to start using like the Ward alternative cost. Like Ward had an alternative started pretty soon after its introduction. It's like it wasn't simply mana, it's like discard a card, pay life. I think if they continue to do Offspring, they will. I think WotC would really benefit from doing that alternative cost. The uncommon is Helga, Skittish Seer. Whenever you cast for a full band, whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4 or greater, you may draw a card, gain a life, and put a +1/+1 counter onto Helga. So for 1/3, it's not exactly make my creatures grow, but you really want it's look at my big stuff. Oh, and here comes my absolutely giant thing. Tap, add X mana where of any one color where X is Helga's Skittish Seer's power. Spend this mana to cast a creature with mana value 4 or greater, or creatures with I think that's supposed to be X in its mana cost. Yeah. Oh yeah, so Helga is just like wanting you to play X spells and play big creatures. I'm all for that, and it's another absolutely beautiful swamp. By artwork, I could not necessarily tell if that was a swamp, but still. One-sided token. It's okay. The hollow that I got is Alania's Pathmaker. There. 4 mana 4/2. When it enters the battlefield, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Okay, yeah, that is good. I haven't exactly been tracking exactly what everything is, but auto token, pretty cute. Yeah, normally I give like I think if I'm playing this I say Hollow, Run Away Together, pretty nice. By rare selection, I don't think I am really within my I have no reason to be in Bant. So Wax Ring, Witness. Okay, Lupin, Flower Village. Colorless. Tap for colorless. Tap add a white. You can only spend it. It's a white creature. A generic and a white sacrifice. Lupin Flower Village. Look at the top 6 cards of your. I just at this moment should keep my phone camera on. You may reveal a bat, bird, mouse, or rabbit creature from among them. But okay, I might actually want to put that in my Soiva deck. Just to be like late game. Oh yeah, I don't need this land. Let's go and potentially dig for a board. Seasoned Warren Guard. Whenever Seasoned Warren Guard attacks, you may, you control a token in season gets +2/+0 until end of turns, or 1/2 for 1 white mana. It is acceptable. I haven't seen that many, actually with the Offspring mechanic, that might actually see some limited play. Valley Flame Color. If a lizard, mouse, otter, or raccoon you control deals damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1. Yeah, so that's quite literally, due to the way that works, any damage. And Mono Red Mouse Beat, I think, is going to be a standard deck. Like, the Mono Red aggro deck might just partially be mono, accidental mouse tribal deck. Just with what I've seen, plus with the Return to Eldraine cards, that's a prediction. Do I have confirmation on that? No! And on top of it, I'm not a standard player by the least. So don't take what I say as gospel. I'm just saying things that's like, this makes sense for what I'm seeing. So, but going mono red auto tribal and doing some stats thing might be a thing. Ball God Mentor. Vigo Bunnycorn from Eldraine. I wanted that to work so badly in the deck. It just was. I was playtesting it, and I just could not really it was just not working as well as I wanted it. Well, but that was a white and a generic, and its power and toughness was equal to the number of permanents on these creatures you control. It's like, okay, it's okay. It gets bigger and bigger, and I love it. I loved it. But this there guy, number of creatures you control is the power and toughness of it, and comes with trample for a green and a white. I am wanting to revisit the Regal Bunnycorn Ball God Mentor Go White tokens. Yeah. And the Moose. Always question the person who has 6 mana, 2 of which is green, because a 6/6 Moose with reach, I think it is going to be Galewind Moose, 6 mana, 4 generic, green for 6/6, Flash, Vigilance, Reach, Trample. It is going to be the wait, it has Trample card of the format, of the limited format. I'm going to say that now. This stupid Moose it has Trample. Oh. And it yeah, it's Colossal Dreadmore, but better. But nothing about the artwork itself actively suggests that this is the scale of this moose. So it having reach makes little sense. A nice full art, and Festival of the Embers enchantment. During your turn, you may cast instances and sorceries from your graveyard by paying 1 life in addition to their other costs. If a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. For 1 generic and a red, sacrifice Festival of Embers. I am not sure how I feel about this. That first effect is great, but then they had to, on a separate line, say anything of yours that would be sent to the graveyard is exiled instead. I would understand, and it's 4 generic and a red. And they had to include a clause that said, sacrifice this card. I would understand if they tacked onto this card, during your turn you may cast an instant or sorcery, pay 1 life, and exile it instead of sending it to your graveyard, Or if it said, pay 1, you may cast instants and sorceries from your graveyard, but they are exiled and you have to pay 1 life, that I would get. But having the, oh yeah, you may cast instants and sorceries from your graveyard at the cost of 1 life. Enter button. If a card or token would be sent to your graveyard, exile it instead. A few decks might want to play this, but for 5 mana, exiling everything else from your graveyard, from that point on, that is, somebody will abuse it, but it's gonna suck. Okay, almost out half hour. And 2 packs left, okay. Pleaded provisional, 5 mana for a board scout flying. When pleaded provisional enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control without flying. Okay, so make something bigger that doesn't have flying. I like it. For the mid to late game, that is an absolutely great little thing to have. 10 out of 10, no notes. If I was in a white deck, I might consider bringing it in potentially. It might be it might be my 41st to 42nd card kind of situation. In all honesty, so but that's me speaking. Okay, me unsure about the fixing in this format. At least enters the battlefield tapped. As it enters, choose a color, taps for. Okay, so you get some correction and potential splash into another color. Obviously, if that's the first time that I'm seeing any fixing, don't splash for 2 colors was the obvious thing. So nice raccoon art. And almost strictly better Hero's Downfall. As it costs 1 less, and it's either forage or cost an additional. So it's like, yeah, and I haven't seen much with food tokens in this format so far, but I like that fact. I like that fact. Another nice fallout. Breezer, the Bounding Spring. 2 white. When Breezer Bounding Spring enters, create a treasure token if an opponent controls more lands than you do. You gain 4 life, and opponent has more life than you. Create 2 1/1 blue fish creature tokens. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, draw a card. Okay, for a 4, like, it passes the vanilla test for being a 4 and a 5, 4/5. But then it's just like, oh yeah, if your opponent is ahead, catch up. It sucks that it's rare, but I enjoy it nonetheless. It's a let's try to catch you up a little bit. And I enjoyed the fact that they are doing a little bit more in with more experimenting with hybrid mana outside of like expected 2-color like Ravnica. I expect hybrid mana. Uh, there's a few for oh yeah, this entire set, this entire plane is all about 2 colors. So it's like Strixhaven, Ravnica. Although Tokyo never had a hybrid mana, I would, if we ever revisited Tokyo, I would fully expect them to reuse the hybrid mana. So it's nice to just see like, oh yeah, this Bloomburrow, we didn't design this to be like a multicolor format, but yeah, let's just do some hybrid manas with some of this. So I had to give them Wizards some amount of kudos for that. Let's see. Okay, got another runaway together, got another provisional, so that's always nice. They brought back Threshold, which is pretty cool in the main set on top of it. If Threshold was in the Lorwyn block, this is a great reference back to that, even though this is clearly not Lorwyn. To make the reference to Lorwyn in this plane has no humans on it, and it's all about these like little tribal non-human tribes. It's like perfect, love it, like a storybook-esque to it all, which I'm a huge fan of that. Granted, I've said it enough times that it bears no repeating. Okay, the rotation of these villages, I know I had the white version of this, which searched for a bunch of creatures, but you had to sacrifice it, which, yeah, it sucks. This, you don't, but it's just like a green tap it, put a counter on each frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel you control that entered the battlefield this time. Perfect. No notes. When you can start like multi-tapping, like, yeah, I'm a fan of that. Cute little rabbit token, cute. Mockingbird enters the battlefield. You may have Mockingbird enter as a copy of a creature you control on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bard in addition to its other creature types, and it has fly. Oh, and it's a blue and blue X. So it's like, for 1 mana, make a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Oh, fudge. So, here's a cool interaction that I'm realizing. Okay, so, fun interactions with X spells. If you didn't know this, that, I'm gonna use Mockingbird, because it's 1 generic and X. Oh no. That, shit, no, that doesn't work. Because what I was thinking is like, oh yeah, in my hand, this is a 1 CMC thing. In the graveyard, it's a 1 CMC creature. In my deck, this is a 1 CMC creature. When I cast, let's say, X is 3, this on the stack, this is a 4 CMC thing. And I was thinking, it's like, oh yeah, cast it ETBs as a copy of another thing. It's like, and from that point on, it's going to have a CMC of 1 after a copy. It's like, no, they changed that rule. Like, no, the actual rulings say they copy everything, including mana value. So you can't exactly like, oh yeah, I cast this for 4, and I copy your 4 CMC thing, and then I spend 1 mana to copy my own marking board that copies my marking board. That's a copy of that other thing. Can't exactly do that. Sucks, but then Dream Do Entrancer, another Veil, Fog Wizard. Having fun with some of these feature types. When Dream Do Enchanter enters, tap up to 1 target creature, and put 3 stun counters on it. If you control that creature, draw 2 cards. Okay, so a 4 mana 3/4 in Simic, for 2 generic, a green and a blue, with reach. I like it for what it is. It's not bad, but for Veil, it's underwhelming because it's either you can stun something for 3 turns or draw 2 cards. It's underwhelming for me as a Veil. It's a whole lot better than the Festival of Ambers, because that card just, outside of a combo deck that hopefully you don't want to recast a lot of your cards, this will see play if you're on Simic and you come across it, but in limited, outside limited, I don't see its play much. Another wonderful Fallout, and okay, Overprotect, not a bad uncommon for things. So yeah, it's 40 minutes. I'm probably, based on what I'm seeing, I'm probably in Simic. Let's go through the uncommons. Yeah, I'm probably in Simic for sure. That's it. Like, I don't have that many Yeah, I'm either in Simic or I'm in Azorius colors potentially. That's where I'm seeing myself at the moment. But that's a me thing more than anything else. And let's open the last pack. Another nice full art. Let's see if okay. Ooh. Ooh. I'm saying something that I'll make a note of in just a moment. Uh Nice uncommon, nice hollow, nice swamp. And what I'm like awing about um is a nice sort of fire and ice. I don't know. Yeah, I I like that treatment of it. It's a nice card. It on top of it, it was the Fallout. Oh, why is my and then I was like, it's more like oh jeez, that's what I was really seeing thing. So set that aside. Christ's sakes, no. Another moose. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Overall, to say that I am somewhat excited to see what standard is really going to look like, and what limited is going to look like. That is what I'm really excited about in this coming format. So yeah, welcome to one of my longest videos on this channel. Somewhat expected for pre-release kit. What are your thoughts on the Bloomburrow so far? Um, I'll catch you around next time, folks.